And if we do that and be able to give that love, then they will grow in their hearts, which makes it far more easier transition to go to the next stage when they can actually come out of that stage of constantly receiving love, to be able then to now start to share, which is not easy at the beginning. That's why that at the beginning in the kindergartens you always hear, or at the home they always hear that you should share, you should share, you should share. There's a far more powerful exercise behind this sharing, because sharing comes out of an emotion of love. Otherwise, no, I don't want to share. And you can see grown-ups do that. No, I'm not sharing. It happens. So then when we go through the second area, second portion, second realm, then it becomes so much easier to exercise that, because we have a foundation. I go back again and again to this foundation, because this is where we all almost missing, that area. So when that is filled, and then the second one we experience through, and then through the second area we learn what? We learn how to give. Incredibly big, important virtue. And equally important, we also learn how to receive. We learn how to wait. You know, a delayed gratification. We learn how to share. And also we learn how to eventually take care, you know, of eventually when we grow past like 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 16, we learn how to take care of also the younger ones, which actually develops, even at that stage, some kind of a parental attitude. The reason I'm emphasizing this thing is because going through the child period and the sibling period and like graduating from each one of them is such a crucial thing, because combination of this, being able to graduate from this, having these experiences inside, most importantly, knowing how to be any of these, knowing how to be a child, regardless of age, knowing how to be a brother or sister, know to be, how to be a father or mother, is so crucial. Why is it so important? Because the next important event that happens in life, which I dare to say is almost the most important event, is when marriage happens. When people marry, it's initially with the greatest promises, with the greatest expectation. You know, I love you forever, we're going to be with each other forever, and only forever is behind every sentence that is spoken. So nobody gets married to separate. But why is it that it doesn't work? It's not because even that people are bad or pointing at each other and so on. It's because we don't have those emotional foundation inside.
Which stems from the realms of the heart.
Yeah. If our heart grows, then we actually discover ourselves. We discover ourselves as a child. We discover ourselves as a brother or as a sister or as a father and as a mother, and eventually also as a husband, as a wife. You know, these abilities are so important, because later on you can see that when you expand this into a much larger level, you can actually apply it to the entire world and the entire humanity. Because if I am comfortable and know how to be a child, how to be a brother, and how to be a father, then I don't have a problem with any human being anymore. Even though if they are not aware of these dynamics, it doesn't matter. It somehow brings the world suddenly together. It makes the whole world like one family. The dynamics of the family is what? Brothers and sisters and husband and wife and parents and children. So imagine a world that this would be emotional dynamics of people amongst each other. You can travel tomorrow to Japan, you go to Australia, you go to wherever in the world, doesn't matter, there are only two genders in the world. Wherever you go, there is whether male or female. So it makes much easier way to relate to people, And of course, this was an ideal thing, picture, and I didn't go through it, and not many people did. So what I want to suggest then, and in order to be able to kind of fix that, is that to come to the awareness, to the presence of mind, to spend each moment of our lives consciously trying to, at the beginning trying until it becomes a second nature, to realize the dynamics of the relationship we have with other people. For example, if you and I are strangers and meet somewhere, we can be sitting next to each other without even conversation. If my awareness is that I'm sitting actually with my brother, this is a different state of feeling and being than I'm just sitting here, you're sitting there, and there is no connection.
Yeah. So in recognizing that fact, then, let's say you don't know him and he's sitting there and you're sitting there, and in recognizing that this is my brother, then does that help aid the conversation between the two? Do you have to even speak? I guess what I'm thinking is, with that understanding there comes a level of responsibility. So if you believe that to be true, and you know that that is true, that he is my brother, then I should have no problem speaking to you.
Yeah.
I should have no problem speaking
Absolutely.
to you.
On either case is good. Imagine that we just sit down for 5 seconds. 5 seconds is 5 seconds of life. Exactly. Or 1 minute, and there is no conversation. Still, the energy inside changes. I mean, we all have physical brothers and sisters. Imagine that you're sitting in a metro, in a bus, or somewhere next to someone you don't know, and then suddenly your sister comes in the bus, and that seat is free, your sister sits there. Suddenly your whole being is different. Why is it different? Because of the awareness that this is my sister.
Right.
So I'm just trying to bring the point that we need to develop that kind of a consciousness to have that awareness and that kind of emotional connection to everyone, just like that.
I'm thinking your dad is, let's take that scenario on the bus and my sister sits down. Automatically, I change because I have a relationship with her. I've known her all my life, and there's a sense of comfort, understanding, love, just unconditional love, which makes it easier. So what you're saying is, once you can apply that same level of understanding, of comfort, love, a sense of knowing the other person, even though you may not know the other person, allows you to connect with that person with a greater understanding of what a sisterhood and brotherhood means, right?
Yeah, and while you were saying that, another aspect came to my mind, that also, because this might be the more essential thing, because you know the person, you are comfortable.
What just came to me as I was listening to you,
Yes.
the first time I'm thinking about it in this manner was that, Medha was talking about, feeling like a brother and sister towards that person who is not your brother and sister. But as I was listening to you, what came to me is that actually that person is already our brother and sister. It is us who have to adapt to it.
Exactly.
I came across a poem by Rumi just a few nights ago that is just like, and I don't remember the poem exactly, but it was like, it is not our job to search for love. It is our job to search for our being, to be open to that love that exists already. So that stranger who sits in front of next to me is already my brother or is already my sister. Now I have to just open to that. That's another.
That's true.
So therefore, the work is always within
It's already
you.
there.
Yes, the work is always.
Exactly.
It's already there,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
work is within you to open it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
To open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because
when
that's
the-
where the
Yeah.
responsibility is. You know, we
Right.
cannot change the other person. But we-
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, wow.
So when we come to the point of that, when I become comfortable,
Right.
it doesn't matter what state the other person even is. It is I who is comfortable or uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes even between the physical blood brothers and sisters, they are uncomfortable with each other.
That's so true.
No? No, this is really a wonderful point. This is a wonderful point.
Wow, what
Yes.
an interesting.
Yes.
Because it actually brings us to the point that, again, the self-realization of who I am connects me to everyone else. Because the more I realize who I am, the more I know who you are. Because we are one and the same. And a story came to my mind. I was in a meeting a couple of years ago, and somebody told this story that there was this wise man who people go and listen to and so on. And then somebody heard of this wise man, and then he was somewhat disturbed by the idea that you think you're who do you think you are, kind of thing. And so at one point he heard that there's a meeting that this guy was going to be there, so he made sure that he's going to go there, and he went to the guy and he said, you know, I heard a lot about you, and the people put you up in a pedestal and so on, and who do you think you are? He said, I am you, to the guy. What he was trying to explain that basically is not that I'm not higher than anybody and you're not lower than anybody. We are all one and the same life. It's just like I'm comfortable with myself, and I know that you and I are the same thing. This is the root of all the wise conversations throughout the history.
Yes.
All
Know
the
thyself.
Huh?
Know thyself. You know,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
a great one. Yes.
Yeah. So in other words, if we talk religiously, for example, we disconnect from God because we lost ourselves. If we take the name God as a pointer, a signpost towards something, is mentioning something, because there are many different names in different languages. In English is God. But if we put that in something that is very tangible, we can actually go to the life. Not my or your or his and her or this and that life, but the life. The life that all lives comes from. The life that sustains all lives everywhere and is greater than the entire universe and whatever is in it. And we are all expression of that anyway. So if we are all expression of one and the same life, which scientifically we even know, no, then we are just so much fooled by few false thoughts in our own minds that draw differences between us, put each other down.